yeah, this is Blue Sky Citadel training, which is offered by the City of God as a free course that we do offer as community impact initiative by the church. That's myself, Deji Ogunlaja. And I said the course is going to entail the following. So we're going to look into SPECFLOW and SELENIUM introduction. This evening I would focus on the introduction. So, and then when I focus on the introduction, I will talk about the setup basically. So that's what we're going to focus this evening. But the whole course is we're going to look into the following. We're going to look into Gherkin, how you can use Gherkin. We're going to look into how you can, what is BDD, and also what is DDD, how they are used, and also we're going to run your test in different browsers. So we're going to do multi-browser automation testing. We're going to look into BDD and Gherkin in great details, looking at the keywords, looking at the examples, looking at the data table. Then after that, we also look into the commands that you can use for WEBDRIVER. So after which we look into the locators, so different locators that you have and how you can actually use them and when do you need to use them as well. So the same way also I would look into switches and alerts. How do you switch between windows? How do you switch between iframes? And also when you need to use weights, implicit and explicit weights, and as well as fluent weights also. I will also look into page object frameworks. So how do you set up your framework using page objects, and also use this traditional approach without page objects. So that will be the focus for the course. Then in terms of the content also, there are other freebies that comes with the course. We're going to have different we're going to discuss about different disciplines in automations. So, and also as I go along, I would be talking about different interview questions that you would encounter as I go along, and there will be discussion forum also where you can also share your views and also ask questions. So there are a lot of people that are knowledgeable in the forum that can help you out. Then as well also we will do career fair and workshops, so where we also plan to do CV reviews, also help you with information on how to apply for roles, and as well as give you some practical experience, and also provide the facilities for you to be able to use the experience that you've learned at this particular course. So that will be the focus in terms of the content. In terms of the tools that we plan to use, we're going to use Visual Studio, SPECFLOW, SELENIUM WebDriver, MS Test, Flow Intersection. We're going to use Gherkin, Azure DevOps, and GitHub. So those are the tools that we plan to use. For tonight, we're going to focus on the following: what exactly is test automation, how that is done, and what is SELENIUM WebDriver, what is SPECFLOW, and as well as .NET and Visual Studio. The most part of the time we're going to look into setting up your test framework from scratch. So this is what we're going to look today. So a better part of this tonight's training is going to focus on setting up. So I would if you have your computer there with you, I think I would advise that you bring them out. So we will go through setting up together. And then if you have issues, you have opportunity to meet me at the workshop on Saturday, where you can actually post your question to me or to other people at the workshop. So if you are still not able to set up your environment before Saturday, you have the privilege to be able to do that at the workshop and ask questions. So to set up, this is the steps that we're going to follow. I will show you how to do each one of the steps. So how to download and install Visual Studio, how to integrate SPECFLOW extension with Visual Studio. Then after that, you create your test project, you add your NUGET packages, and also create your folder structure, and as well as creating your feature file and the step definition. Then you are good to go to run your first test. And tonight's focus is going to be introduction, basically. So that is what I have said. So then if you have any questions, so you can ask now. So and yeah, so as well you can download this material on our discussion channel. So anyone that you belong to. So the first one is for the adults. So we also have youth channel, which is the 5521 basically. So okay, so I would go through this session right now. If you have any questions, let me know. So we'll start now. All right, so we're going to start with the introduction right now. So introduction to SPECFLOW and Exhibit and Selenium rather, and how to set it up. What is SPECFLOW? So quickly. So why do you need to do automation? So that's one question some people might ask. That why do I need to do automation, and also what is automation testing? Automation testing is basically you performing the test that you will have performed manually, but using written scripts. So you also compare your actual results with your expected results using the code. It depends on different programming language that you want to use, but in this particular lesson we're going to use C# and also SPECFLOW. So what is Selenium WebDriver? Someone might ask, basically. So it's a web automation framework that allows you to execute your tests against any browser, basically. So you can. So before WebDriver, there was Selenium IDE. So that was just record and play, basically. Just record and you play it. So, and it's not in fashion today. So don't put that in your CV that you use Selenium IDE. It's not. That's basically record and play. So in this time, you need to use a programming language and to write your script. That's very, very important. So yes, it's different from Selenium IDE. So then SPECFLOW. SPECFLOW is a BDD framework also that you can use to write your requirements. So it's written in Gherkin, basically. So we're going to use SPECFLOW in detail in this particular session. Visual Studio. This is the IDE that we're going to use. It's developed by Microsoft, basically, and you can use it to develop any program, and also it's got its own code editor, which you can also use IntelliSense. Actually, IntelliSense is basically like autocomplete for you. So when you are writing a part of your code, it can autocomplete for you. And there's a free version that I'm going to recommend. Actually, is the community edition. So that's what you're going to be downloading. So that's what you need. You need the community edition of the Visual Studio. And yeah, basically that's that. So if any questions, so you can post it on that channel. We're going to be answering those questions. So now let's go to the setup. So now we're going to look into how to set up test automation from scratch using SPECFLOW, SELENIUM, of course with C#. So we're going to be using Visual Studio. So we start from beginning. So these are the steps that we're going to follow. We're going to download and install Visual Studio. We're going to integrate SPECFLOW extension. We're going to create our first project. We're going to add NUGET packages, and we're going to create the folder structure. We're going to create the feature files and the step definition and run the test. That's what we're going to do tonight. So the first step, which is download. So the first step, downloading and installing Visual Studio. So I will just increase this bit a bit so that you can see this bit. So now for you to run Visual Studio, there are some system requirements. So I will just leave that. So if you are looking to buy a new system, or you want to check if your system meets the requirements, so if you have 2 gig of RAM, it is okay, but 8 gig of RAM is recommended. So, and you should be running Windows version 10 or higher, whether it's home or professional edition, it should be fine. And the space on your system is only required 800 MB, but I would advise, yeah, because you're going to be storing a lot of files, so you should have enough space on your system. So those are the things that I would recommend. So, and also they say quadra-core or better is recommended. So, and that will be what you need. So then the first thing that you need to do now is to go to visualstudio.microsoft.com. So if you go in there, so this is visualstudio.microsoft.com, then you would 1 minute, just turn this one. So this is what you're going to see. So then you would, this is what Visual Studio you want. So if you are with Mac, if you are running on Mac, so you would click on this one. So I'm on Windows, but I'll go through the Mac settings also and how you can install on Mac. So for the Visual Studio on Windows, you click, you mouse over on download Visual Studio and you select Community Edition. You select Community Edition. The Community Edition is free, so if you select that one, so that is what I have just described in there. So then you have your exe downloaded for you. At that point, it's free. So as rightly said, yeah. So then you have your exe downloaded for you. So you would then continue. So from what you have, you continue. So maybe I will just go through this. So you will continue from there, and you would come to this particular screen where you have your workload displayed. So then I would propose or recommend that you select the .NET desktop development. So you check that off, and once that is checked, then you go to the next one. So you also check the .NET. Yeah, that's fine. That is what you are. Then also on the individual components, just confirm that you have those ones. So, and I will go through them right now. Then you click on install, then you are ready to go. So I will do that right now. So click on next. So then after that, make sure you restart your computer for this to start. So that is, so I already got Visual Studio Community installed anyway. So if I say update, so I will just to show what you're going to see. Repeat the boxes to have checked. Okay, 1 minute, I'm going to do that. These are the boxes, but more often I think you should have them by default, so it doesn't matter. You should have them by default anyway. What's this one? Okay, any question, any other question? So I'll go through it once again for the last time. So for people that are following, so Visual Studio, download the Visual Studio, but use the Community Edition, Community 2019. Then you got that downloaded. You click on continue. Yeah, continue. Check the .NET. And over here, you don't need to do anything. It's just checking up, to be honest. By default, you would have all this checked for you. Then you click on install, and then you start your system. That should be it. Any question, you can post your question on that particular discussion forum. So we're going to the next one, which is if you are a Mac user and you want to download Visual Studio, and what requirement do you need? So as it is right now, so I've already got requirements in there according to what is being specified by Microsoft. So you just need to go to the same place, visualstudio.microsoft.com. So you click on download Visual Studio for Mac, and you got your DMG file downloaded for you. You click on it, and then you also start to install your Visual Studio, and you click on continue. Then you just select those ones, whether you want .NET. I think .NET is by target, so whether you want Android or iOS, that's fine. So, but for us, you don't need Android, you don't need iOS. I think .NET Core should be sufficient. So then that should be it. So then you sign into Microsoft. You click on Visual Studio for Mac. Then click on continue, and that should be you. So the next point now is you starting up your Visual Studio. So what you need now to do is to type Visual Studio in your search box when you click in there, like Visual Studio, and you have your Visual Studio there, and you can click on it. So right now mine is doing updates, so I will let you to finish and continue. So then you click on it, it will take you to this particular screen, and you have different options. You can start a new one, clone a checkout. We are not going to clone anyone. So, or you can open a solution, or open a look, or create a new project. So we're going to, so depending on what you want to do, or you can select previous code that you've written. So if you have any question on that, let me know. So now the next step now is for you to integrate your SPECFLOW extension with Visual Studio IDE. So we've downloaded and installed our Visual Studio. So then you need to integrate SPECFLOW extension with your Visual Studio IDE. So to do that, what you need to do, when you open Visual Studio, you have a screen like this. You go to extension. I'm using Visual Studio 2019. Apology for that. That should be Visual Studio 2019, not 17. So because for 2017 you go onto tools, and you would tools extension basically, and then you'll be able to manage the extension. But for 2019 they actually removed the extension away from the tools. So for 2019 that we're using, you go to extension and you go to your manage extensions. So once you click on manage extensions, you will see this particular screen. Then where you need to go to online. Click online. So once you click online, you will bring this screen to you, and you can now search. You can search for SPECFLOW. So here you say, okay, SPECFLOW. So this step is very, very important. I will show you later why it's important. And this is what you do it once for instance of your Visual Studio configuration. So you don't need to do this every time when you are creating a new project. You only need to do this step once. So then when you search for SPECFLOW, SPECFLOW should come up and you click on download. So when you click on download, it should download SPECFLOW for you and extend it onto your Visual Studio. But however, it's going to tell you to restart your Visual Studio. So if you don't do that, you're going to, so yeah, you advise to close your Visual Studio. And once you are closing it, please look out for this particular screen, because sometimes it might be underneath another window that you opened, and if you don't see it, then your Visual Studio extension is not yet done. It's very, very important for you to look out for this window. So, and when this window finishes, then that is when your extension is completed. So once it's completed, then you can click on close. So that is, then after that, open Visual Studio, then you are ready to go. Any question? So that is the second step that we've done, finished. So the third step that we're going to look into now is, before I go into the third step, I will need to also mention that the second step, you only need to do it once for the instance of your Visual Studio. So once you got your Visual Studio installation downloaded, then you got it integrated. You don't need to do it again. So step 1 and step 2, you only need to do it once. Of course, step 3, you would be creating different projects for, different test projects for different projects you are going to be doing. So now, how do you create your first test project? So to create your test project, you would open Visual Studio and you click on new and you click on project. So after that, you will type the name of the project and then the location. So once you click on that, you can select the type of project that you want to do, or the template that you want to use basically. So I would recommend you search for test template. You just click on
test template, you search for test template. So when you search for test template, then you would see all these particular templates that you can actually select. For this particular course, we are going to be using MS Test Project.NET Core. So we are going to be using MS Test Project.NET Core. So that's what we are going to be using. Then you select that. Once you select that one, you specify the name and the location of your project. The name and the location. You can, to change the location, you just click on this particular 3 dots. Then you put the name and then you enter the location. And then you can as well, if you want your code to be placed in the same directory, you can select this. Actually, you can check it so that your code will be in the same directory with your project. Your solution will be in the same directory with your project. So then what you're going to have is your project created. But however, you're going to have it created with a unit test class. So you don't need that. What you need to do is you delete that particular unit test class, this particular one, unit test 1. So you need to right click and delete. So like right click on the unit test and then click on delete. That is gone. So, and it's going to bring this for you to say, or do you want to permanently delete your file? Yes, we don't need that. Click OK and that. So it's gone now. So this is you starting afresh. So, and that is your first test project created for you. Any question on step number 3? Okay. Is MS Test a test framework, and how is it different? So MS Test is a test runner. For you to run your test, you need to use a test runner. So there are different test runner that we have. You have NUnit, you have XUnit, you have MS Test, and also there's SPECFLOW also. There are other ones, those are the common popular ones. So yeah, so it's different from NUnit, but they are on the same category actually. So they are in the same category, so you can decide to use MS Test or you can decide to use NUnit or XUnit or SPECFLOW. But what happens is like when you start to assert your test, so is where you would actually see the difference, because they actually have different way of writing the method to assert. So we're going to look into that in great detail later. I hope that is okay and I've answered your question. Any other question before I move to the next step? Okay. Let's go to the next step. So the next step is you now adding your NUGET packages. So you need to add your NUGET packages. So how do you do that? So what you need to do is like you go to your project and then you go to your NUGET package. And 1 minute. So if you go to project, you go to manage NUGET package. So you click on the NUGET menu and you click on the NUGET package. And then it should open the screen for you. So now there's some NUGET packages that we need. So I'm going to show you the list. So the first is SPECFLOW. You select, you type SPECFLOW into that search box. Another thing I want to mention here, also very important, because like I said, I'm going to give you some tips and everything. So for newbies, this is one of the issues that they found. So sometimes you go in there, you don't see SPECFLOW, you don't see anything because you are not online. So for you to be able to add NUGET package to your solution, you need to be online. You need to be online. Please be online. It's very, very important for you to be online. So otherwise you are not going to do that. So so you just type SPECFLOW in the search box and then select the SPECFLOW that is highlighted for you. Or of course, when you select, it's going to be highlighted. Then you click on install. So this is where the install is. You click on the install, and that should install for you. And then it's going to bring this particular screen. You accept the alert, and then it's going to ready for you. So yeah, like I said, you have lots of some packages that need to be added. So the same step that we carried in this particular one, you will need to do it for all these particular packages. We've done for SPECFLOW, you have to do for specflow.tools.msbuild.generation. So basically, you would go back, maybe click on project if it's not yet clicked, project, then extension, manage extension. So then after that, you would then search or type the particular NUGET package, for instance, the specflow.tools.msbuild.generation. Then you would appear, then you select it and you click on install. So that you would go through those ones, like one after the other. So the same way for SPECFLOW MS test, for SELENIUM WEBDRIVER, for SELENIUM support, for SELENIUM WEBDRIVER, IE driver, you will need to look. All these NUGET packages are important. When this particular installation finishes, I will go through them one after the other. So any question on this particular step? Okay. All right. So the next step now is to create your folder structure. So this one is my recommended structure. So I'm going to show you basically, but it might be different for people. But I have worked in different establishments, and I've actually looked into different way of how people write their structure. It's not going to be different, but yeah, this is my own way, to be honest. So for you to create a folder, you right click on your project, not your solution. So you have two things, right? Two files there, and you have one as the solution. The one that starts with solution is your solution file, and you have the project, which is the name, the one I've highlighted right now. So you right click on that one. The reason is, if you right click on your solution, you get a different context. And if you add your project, or if you add your folder at the solution, you are not meant to add your folder at the solution context. You are meant to add it at the project level. So at the project level, you need to add your folders. So to add the first folder, you right click on the project and click on add, then click on new folder. So when you do that, it's going to ask you for the name, and you put the name. Basically, I think I missed that particular screenshot. So you put the name of that particular folder that you want to do, so create, and you put the name, and that's it. So, and yeah, you would create other folder the same way also. So now this is what you're going to have. So you will create the feature folders. So the feature folders, it will be will store all your feature files. That is where you're going to have your feature files stored. And also, I also created hooks folder. I know lots of people don't have this particular folder. The hook folder is not something that is common to most frameworks, but what I have seen is if you are a newbie, hooks could be daunting for you, because sometimes you create your hooks and you don't know where exactly it is being fired. You don't know where exactly it is, and it is running after or before your tests, and you don't know where exactly those ones are. So it's something is good for you to put them in this particular folder. So when you want to trace them, you know where to look at, basically, that my hooks are stored in this particular folder. Then also you have page objects also. So page objects, you would put your common page in this particular page object. So it's very, very good, because page object module allows you to reuse your common elements on your page or application in test, basically. So you don't need to duplicate your elements, so you can put them in one class and then use them wherever you want to use them, or call them from different parts of your step definition. Or of course, you might have more than one page object, but it makes your code to be tidier and neater if you use page objects, and also allows you to reuse your elements more. So it also give you clean code, and then also make your code to be easily manageable. That is very, very important. So, and even also readable as well. So, and then also you have your step definition. So apologies, there's a typo there actually. So, well, it should be step definition. So you have your step definition. So you create your step definition. So this is where you stored your steps. All your steps, this is where you store them actually. So you put your steps there. Then after that, you create your test data. So at this particular folder, you're going to be storing all your test input, whether you have a CSV or you also want to save your screenshots. But in some cases, you could also have like input and output subfolder, so that your input goes to a different folder, your output goes to a different folder, wherever you want. That's fine. Then you have utilities. On utilities or common class, some guys can call it a common folder or utility. So this is where you have your common classes, or other people can call it F classes. So you have it in this particular folder. For you to be able to make your code tidier, there will be some classes that are common, or like kind of like errand boy, basically, that you will need to be using in your steps. So you will put them in the utility folder. So these are the folders that you're going to create. Any question on that one? Any question? Okay. So if there's no question, we'll go into the next one, which is creating your first feature file. So to create your feature file, so this is what you need to do. So you go to your Visual Studio, or you right click on that particular folder that we've created for features. So once you right click on them, on that particular folder rather, you click on add, you select add, and also you select new item. So if you select new item, it takes you to this particular screen. But bear in mind, it might not select SPECFLOW for you, so you will need to click on SPECFLOW. Maybe it will be on the parent one, or it might be on the install. So you need to go into Visual Studio C# items and select SPECFLOW. This is very, very important. If you don't see SPECFLOW on this list, that means you've not done step 2 properly. step 2 that we did, which was extending your Visual Studio with SPECFLOW. So if you don't see anything here, that means you've not done that step properly. So that's why, or perhaps you see something, you see SPECFLOW, but you are not seeing anything listed, or this is not showing this icon. So step 2 is not properly done. So that is what you would have if you don't complete that step 2. You know, I told you in step 2 that there's a window that opens, and that window opens at the back of your Visual Studio. So you need to close your Visual Studio to finish that particular installation. So yes. So if you're able to see SPECFLOW, so then you click on it, and then you select SPECFLOW feature file, and you type the name of that particular feature that you want to create. For instance, if you want to create login feature, you say login.feature. So this is also very important for you to know the extension of a feature file. So I'll go back also and talk about the extension of other ones. So because this also could come in an interview, I've been asked in an interview before, what's the extension of a feature file? So it's basically .feature. So you need to know that a feature file will have .feature as extension. So what you're going to store in your feature file will be a Gherkin. By default, it's going to give you this particular calculator feature. So then you will replace it with your feature file. So we're going to go into details about feature files and how you create them, like I said in the beginning of this session. So we're going to go into Gherkin in detail, but not in this particular class this evening. So one thing I also want to say also, by default, when you type your step, so it's good when you type your feature steps, it's going to be in purple, or in purple. So but it's meant to be in white later. So when your step is, when you go a binding step, the next step is how to do the binding. But you need to know that this is okay for now, but after that the color would change to white from purple. So you can just copy that and paste it in. So this is now we're creating another one for registration. So the same way, you just go into that window and we type registration. So also in some, you might not put .feature. I think he also put it for you automatically, but I would advise you put .feature, to be honest. So it's very, very important, so that you will not encounter any issues. So registration .feature. So then after that, you have the screen, this particular default screen. So you can now copy, as you can see, you type your registration steps, giving an navigate to the site. When I click on registration buttons, I enter the first name, last name, password, confirm password, and I sign up. I click on the sign up button. I should be able to log in. So these are my steps. So then I am done with creating my feature step. Any question? So question, okay. Can the hook folder be created as a subfolder of the utility folder? Yes, that is also right. So the question I have got is on the folder structure. On the folder structure, can the hook file be created under the utility? Yes, I've seen instances. If you did not actually create the hooks folder, basically the best place for the hooks to be is going to be on your utility folder. So, but however, you can as well create a folder under the utility and put your hooks in there. So, any other question? I hope that is okay. If there's no any other question, we go into step 7. Step 7 now is you creating your step definition. So to create your step definition, what do you need to do? So we've already created our feature file. So to create your step definition, you would right click on your steps and then say generate steps. There are different ways to do this. I'm going to show you during the demo basically. So but one thing, why do I need to do that? I actually explained before. Right now, as you can see, my step is showing blue and purple, but because there's no binding. So for each, because getting is basically English, getting is basically English. For each of these English line, SPECFLOW will generate a C# file that will bind to this particular, to each of the steps. So for you to do that, you need to right click and generate the steps that you want. So it's going to generate the step for the giving, generate the step for and, generate the step for when. So you create that. So there are different ways to do that. At the start is okay. You can, because everything you want to generate for everything, you would click on generate step. So when you click on generate step, a button, a window like this will appear, and you can choose and select. So you take the one that you want to generate. But in some cases, you might not want to generate everything, so you deselect the one that you don't want to generate. So, and then after that, you would click on generate. So bear in mind also, it's very, very important, right, for you to select the location that you want to place your step definition. So, and then also it's very important, because sometimes what people have done is you've got this selected right now, and you got this class as the registration class, and you click on generate, and it takes you to this place, and most people just click on save. Don't do that. Click on the folder structure and to actually specify where you want your step to be generated. It's very, very important, because I've seen some students, after they click on save, they don't know where it's saved. They thought it's at the top, but no, it might not be. So you will need to please click on the step on the folder structure and confirm that the right folder structure is where you are saving your step. It is very, very important, so that you don't start looking for a lost pin. Actually, make sure it's very, this is done. So once you've done that and you save, your feature file should change to white and blue. The purple that was there before will not be white. So this is what you're going to have right now. And also you would have a step definition created for you, basically like that. You have these steps. So you can see this is what you are, it's going to be generated for you. Each step will have their own method. So I'm going to go through this quickly. So, and it's going to be using system. You don't need to worry about that. And also it's going to be using the SPECFLOW class. So this is from SPECFLOW. You see tech.specflow. So that is very important for you to have a binding, right? So then also you have a namespace. A namespace is basically like the folder, your folder structure. So you're going to have a namespace. So these are my project name, and also with where I am storing this particular class, step definition. So, and also I have a binding. So this is binding. This is a annotation which allows this given when clause to have a binding. So now you have the method giving and navigate to website. So with that method, there's annotation giving clause. So you have the giving clause with what I have specified, the text I have specified in my giving clause. The same way you have another giving clause when you register. I would go through into this quickly because we're still going to look into that in great detail later. So you have given, and, when, and then. So basically what you are saying is given, I navigate to the website. Given, I click on register button. When, I select the first name. When, I enter the last name. When, I enter the password. When I click on sign up button, then I should. So basically, instead of repeating the when here, you've used it with and. But when your code is generated, it's going to generate with the annotation of when. So that means that if you change this particular when to given, right, all this and will not work again because they were going to be expecting a given clause. But now, because you've now changed this to a given, so, and this one will just turn immediately to purple because this is now the appearance, right, which you appended that particular clause to has been changed. Because it's been changed, then the step definition is not going to be located again. So you should bear that in mind. So yeah, so that is the step definition that should be created for you. Any question before I move forward? Okay. Is there any question? Okay, we have this right now. So it's asking me to restart. So I'll see what I can do. I'll try to say not now. Then we'll go through the step and see if that works. So yeah. If it doesn't work, I have to restart. Then we'll join back later. So I'm not going to talk about hooks right now. So we talked about that one next week. So yeah, so the next one is running your system. So let's go. So running your test. Okay. To run your test, you just need to first thing, because it's also possible that your test explorer is not displayed. You don't have the test explorer window. For you to have the test explorer window, you click on the test and you click on Windows and you click on the test explorer. So then your test explorer window appears. You don't need the app config again, so I need to remove that one because that was removed from SPECFLOW 3. So that is that. So we go through the step right now and see what we have starting from the beginning. Any question, please, before I go through the demo again?